Hey travelers, Mag and I here on day 196 of our trip around the United States. Today, we are going to be spending all day long in the city of San Antonio. We have no miles to cover, and we probably aren't even going to be adding our names to many logbooks today, as we did that yesterday, and the bulk of what we have left today are virtuals and earth caches. We're going to be using both of those types of listings as a way to explore some of the most beautiful, scenic, and historic sites around the city. We're starting things off from here in San Pedro Springs Park at a beautifully naturally fed spring pool that people can come to enjoy. Once we finish up with our virtuals and earth caches today, there's going to be an event hosted by two crazy chicks for local geocachers to come out and meet Aichan. And I guess since I'll be there as well, they can meet me. But let's be honest here. Everyone's gonna come to meet the star of the show, Aichan, because she's the one everybody really wants to see. I know it's gonna be a great day because no matter what happens, we're set. We have no miles to cover. We have no major targets beside the Alamo to get. So it's gonna be mission accomplished no matter if we get all the virtuals or only a handful. And I know it's gonna be great to get to meet local geocachers at the end of the day. And when they're done greeting Aichan, I'll say my hellos as well and we'll get to know one another. So let's get out there and see what the city of San Antonio has in store. Come on, let's go.
Located just a few miles northwest of downtown San Antonio, the San Pedro Springs emerge at an elevation of about 660 feet through a fault at the base of a limestone bluff. This site is so much more than just springs though. It is one of the most important places in all of the southwest United States. The springs and a small natural lake found just below the springs were a favorite meeting place and campsite for Native Americans for thousands of years. Fossils of mastodons, giant tigers, dire wolves, Columbian elephants, and extinct horses have been found here. The important role that this park has played dates back even before written history. One of the absolute must-do stops for our day was a visit to the Alamo. While best known as the site of the 1836 Battle of the Alamo, there's actually 300 years worth of history to uncover at this site. Established in 1718 as Mission San Antonio de Valero, this mission has been a crossroads in history. In its earliest days, it began as a religious outpost of the Spanish Empire. From here, soldiers and men of God would set out to control territories and the indigenous peoples of the area. By 1793, the Catholic Church had relinquished control of the mission, which became a self-governing community known as Pueblo de Valero. Over the next 10 years, it transformed into a defensive fortress in response to threats against French Louisiana and the Americas on its borders. Then, at the Battle of the Alamo in 1836, the Mexican state of Tejas won independence and became the self-governing Republic of Texas. Turning from the historic site of the Alamo, you will find that you are already in the heart of downtown San Antonio. Here you can explore one-of-a-kind events, restaurants, rich history and art as you stroll a couple of blocks to reach the Riverwalk, the #1 tourist attraction in the state of Texas. There are many entrances and exits that lead from the street one level down to reach the Riverwalk, including that of the Arneson River Theater, an open-air venue outdoor performance theater erected in 1939. There are many places available to hop on a river cruise and hear a little bit of history as you relax on the flow of the river, or use your own 2 feet or 4 paws as we did to make your way along the Riverwalk. There is no shortage of interesting sights to see along the way, including many adventure labs and virtuals. For our final stop on this tour of historic downtown San Antonio, we visit the Japanese Tea Garden, also known as the Sunken Gardens in Bracken Ridge Park. The Tea Garden was developed on land donated to the city in 1899 by George Washington Brackenridge, president of the San Antonio Waterworks Company. Prior to that, the Alamo Cement Company had used the land to produce cement from its kiln, the chimney of which still stands today. In 1919, the city had invited local Japanese-American artist Kimi Izu Jingu to move to the garden. They first opened the Bamboo Room, where light lunches were sold, and maintained the gardens, lived in the park, and raised 8 children here. The family was evicted in 1941 with the rise of anti-Japanese sentiment in World War II, and the garden was renamed the Chinese Tea Garden to prevent razing and vandalism. In 1984, under the direction of Mayor Henry Cisneros, the city restored the original Japanese Tea Garden designation in a ceremony attended by Jingu's children and representatives of the Japanese government.
They say everything is bigger in Texas, and the donuts also follow that rule. Two crazy chicks brought dessert. They only brought one donut. It's a Texas-size masterpiece from Round Rock Donuts. That looks absolutely delicious, and I cannot wait to dig in. And maybe, just maybe, share. We'll see. Ai-chan worked very hard today and covered a lot of miles in downtown San Antonio. She's ready to eat a little bit of burger too. So we're gonna go ahead.
And then I can have people over again. A clean house is over right
There you go.
Started inviting people. Like, I'll give you. But my problem is I've got burger. No, why dust? It comes back to my house.
There we go, sweetheart. Yeah, that's good.
So let's take the opportunity to meet a few of the geocachers who came out here to the Meet Ai-chan event. This is the Wild Rose of Texas. I've actually been finding her caches over the last week. So we've been emailing back and forth, and it's great to finally be able to meet the geocacher behind the great listings that we've done. You guys have seen many of those great shots. That sunset over Rockport a couple of days ago, that was courtesy of her earthcache. So Wild Rose, how long have you been in the game?
2013.
2013. How many geocache finds?
Somewhere in the neighborhood of 20,000 something.
And I'm willing to bet you've completed the Texas 254.
Yes, and I'm working on the double.
The double, meaning the non-traditional version of the challenge?
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, as if the Texas 254 counties wasn't enough, I assure you it's enough. They also now have a challenge out there to complete a non-traditional geocache in all of the 254 counties. So a lot of the geocachers who have already done the 254, like the Wild Rose of Texas, is going through it all over again with virtuals, earth caches, mysteries, letterboxes, everything but those green boxes on the map. Well, Wild Rose, thank you for coming out here to meet Ai-chan and I tonight.
Yes, it's great to meet you.
No event would be complete without a good event host. Knowing that I was coming into San Antonio, the two crazy chicks coordinated with me to set up this event so that everybody could come out here and meet Ai-chan, the star of our show. So, two crazy chicks. You've been in the game since 2016?
Yes.
And they have hit the ground running when they got in the game. You guys are 11,000 if I remember correctly, right?
Yes.
That is quite a few finds in 7 years. And of course, they've also completed the 254 county challenge. And of course, they're also working on the non-traditional version of that.
Yes.
I just don't understand Texas, how you can already have the most counties and then just make the game that much more difficult. But the two crazy chicks have lived up to their name in geocaching. They have in Texas what's called the Texas Winter Games to get people out during geocaching. And I was being told a story last night of how they did a basically 12-hour round trip to go up into the northern part of Texas and find one geocache in the snow to do this challenge. Did you guys end up winning that year?
Probably so. I think so.
It was worth a lot of points to find a geocache in the snow, build a snowman, and make a snow angel. So it may have only been one cache and straight to work, 5 minutes late by the way, but it was well worth it to be able to win the challenge. Two crazy chicks, thank you very much for hosting this event. And it has been a pleasure to meet both of you guys and be able to come out here and meet the other geocachers in the San Antonio area as well.
Well, we're so glad that we could host the event and had the opportunity to meet you and hear about your adventures. And we wish you well as you continue on for a cache on every county.
And we're getting there, one county at a time. And here we have Sparky Ivy. He is the record holder FTF streaker. How many days have you gotten an FTF on your streak?
640 days straight.
640 days straight. Now, those of you who've been out there geocaching after FTFs, think about what that really means in terms of the miles you have to travel some days to go find a geocache to be able to first find. What was your farthest that you had to go to get an FTF on a day?
180 something miles on days.
Oh my goodness.
It was a bad day.
That is one of the most incredibly impressive things I've heard, and a lot of impressive things that we've heard geocachers doing. Almost 2 years solid of FTF streaking.
I think, yeah, 640 for this.
That is pretty crazy. Very nice to meet you, and thank you for coming out here to join Ai-chan and I for this event.
Enjoy. Okay.
Now we're going in a little bit different a direction. What's your geocaching?
Wolf Draco.
Wolf Draco, which she has undergone a name change.
A
But-
Q.
She has been geocaching in this game for 20 years now, which means she's one of the originals that kind of helped pioneer what geocaching is today.
So started back in July 31st, 2004. So 20 years this year. Had a small gap. My geocaching count was only about 2,600. But been to lots of events, almost 200 events when I was looking it up, close to. So I'm definitely more of a social cacher. Enjoy it. But like finding new places. Yep, so I've enjoyed it. Lots of things to do, lots of ones to find. I have lots of lists that I've created over the years of places I want to hit up, and just keep open on that.
And I hope I'm adding to that
You
list
are.
too.
You are adding to it.
And that's what I'm trying to do for each of you out there too. When you see a spot that's pretty amazing, you're going to want to come out and see it for yourself, because you're only ever getting a glimpse of what it is. You're never getting the full picture because we just don't have time to give it to you. Thank you for coming out
All
here
right,
tonight.
thank you for coming and stopping by through here as well. And almost didn't make the event, but I'm glad I did.
I'm glad you did too. All right, travelers, that is a wrap. We got to tour around San Antonio today, and what a fantastic time we had of it. We began our morning in San Pedro Springs Park, and Aichan and I walked through an earth cache, a virtual, an adventure lab, actually 2 adventure labs, and the bonuses as well. We went to the Alamo from there, and we got to see the Alamo and do the river walk as well, which is kind of the big thing to do in San Antonio. From there, we made our way through the virtuals and earth caches we had for the day, and actually managed to finish off all of our main targets for the day. What a tour of San Antonio it was. A fantastic city, and no better way to get to see it with geocaching. And to finish things off, 2 Crazy Chicks has hosted an event for everybody to come out and meet Aichan. And since they were already come out to meet Aichan, they got to meet Mag Planner as well. So we've had a good time getting to meet the local geocachers in the San Antonio area. And what a warm welcome. Thank you everybody for coming out tonight. We've had a fantastic time meeting each of you, and it has been our absolute pleasure. Thank you guys for joining us today. Like this video, subscribe, stay tuned for daily updates, and we'll see you out on the trails.